Listen, this is episode 3, and the other person that hosts this with me is.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. uh, I guess I is Ashley. You can find me at Ashley underscore likes underscore horror on Instagram. I don't know if he plugged his Instagram or not.
Oh, no, I did not plug my Instagram because I just made it and have like 3 posts.
Probably not used to
Horrible
having one yet.
Gray. Horrible Gray is my Instagram. That's where you can find me. I post infrequently because I work 60 hours a week.
I post all the time because I'm a jobless bum.
Yeah, you're a jobless bum with a man, though.
Oh, I'm not really a bum. I work. I make
Why did
my
you
way.
sound Why did you kind of sound like Jennifer Coolidge when you said that? I'm not really a bum.
I'm not a bum.
Oh fuck, that's good.
There was
That's good.
a lot of moments in Venom today that could have been a lot better had Jennifer Coolidge been in it.
The Venom movies just kind of exist for me.
Yeah, this is no exception. This one today was no
Yeah, I wouldn't
exception.
drink the coffee.
You can't make a PG-13 Venom and make it be great. Sorry.
Well, I mean, they saved their one fuck for the end of the movie.
Oh, I mean that's good. At least they use. At least they use it.
Use fuck cautiously,
Sass.
as
Use
well as
break,
fuck cautiously also.
Tone.
break glass case and grab fuck in case of emergency.
Fuck in case of emergency. Ha!
All right. Do you want to go ahead and tell everyone what today's episode is?
I mean, yeah, I was kind of still hooked on fucking case of emergency. I mean, both of these movies was a huge ass emergency. It'd probably only make it worse if they just decided to fuck throughout the entire thing.
I
Well,
think
maybe.
I think with the void, fucking is kind of what led to everything happening.
Alright, so you want to start with the void, huh?
We can start with the void. We're covering 2 Lovecraftian horror movies today.
Dude,
Both
cosmic
very
horror is the
different.
shit, though.
Oh yeah, cosmic horror is my favorite horror.
Yeah, same. Because it's like it's got some major psychological elements to it, and that's my hands down favorite genre of horror is psychological.
See, I felt like these 2 movies were very different, but they all both covered um, good aspects of cosmic horror. So starting with the void, start with that. The void is essentially a fucking like 80s gore fest grindhouse movie, but with Lovecraftian elements in it.
Dude, it was just fucking amazing from start to finish.
It was psychological. I mean, not super psychological. There's some really fucked up elements to it, but like, oh man, that movie was gruesome.
Mm-hmm.
I firmly believe that movie led to. I accidentally watched it in front of my kid, and later that night he had a night terror. So that's my fault.
Jesus Christ. That sounds like some like grade A parenting right there.
Look, I was exposed to horror at a young age. Maybe 2 years old is a little too young. I didn't think about it. He's just now 2 years old. Before
That's
the
them
age
terrible
of 2,
twos.
before the age of 2, they don't really remember or retain anything. So it was just free game. Now I gotta be careful.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was very little when my mom left me unattended with Cujo on the TV, and that kind of
Yeah, how'd that
fostered my
turn out for you?
it fostered my fear of big dogs for the longest while until I realized Stephen King don't know what the fuck he's talking about. They're softies.
Yeah, I mean, you got paranormal fativity living with you.
Yeah, and it's the best paranormal fativity.
Now, The Void, that movie was great. Had a lot of great twists in it. And honestly, my favorite thing about that movie was it was all practical effects. Except for, like, that very end scene with the CG,
Mm-hmm.
where they're in a different realm and everything.
See.
But
Mm-hmm.
all the practical effects, all the monsters and everything, Love it. It's my favorite type. You cannot CG can never replace practical effects for me.
Yeah, and see, that's where I was like having to stop myself, is because I don't want to compare the two movies that we watched. I wanted to like speak about them individually, and I was just fixing to shit all over underwater for having like no practical effects. Like it was just all CG
Underwater would
monsters,
be
but
hard to do practical effects with because they are, as the title suggests,
well,
underwater.
I mean, they were underwater in Deep Star 6. So,
It's really hard to do, especially animatronics are hard to do with water. You ever hear about the what happened with the Jurassic Park T-Rex
uh
during the rain scene?
no,
Yeah, the thing was activating on its own, and in order to work on it,
that's
you had to
rad.
crawl into the mouth, and people almost got eaten by a robot T-Rex.
That is fucking rad. What a way to go.
That's I know, right? It is pretty rad. If I'm gonna die, I want that to be on my gravestone, eaten by a robot T-Rex. But no, the Void. I think that would be my favorite out of the two.
Yeah, same for me
Uh,
too.
that movie was a fucking trip from start to finish.
There wasn't really a whole lot to look into for this movie. Like it literally was just like surface value because of how it was told from like the character's perspective. Like we only knew as much as them, so for us to like look any deeper into it than what we already were seeing, I feel would have been just a waste of time and ruin the experience.
Ooh, my favorite practical effect was the skinless doctor.
Really?
That dude, yeah, that or the first monster, what I would call
Oh, the Karen monster.
the very first monster.
Wasn't her name Karen? Wasn't that it?
I think that was her name. Yeah, she died, came back to life as a monster.
Yeah, because there was the
I think the
she went and
closest
stabbed the
definition
dude
to
in the
that
face.
to anybody here that knows their Lovecraftian lore is that would be referred to as a Shoggoth,
Mm-hmm.
a human cosmic entity hybrid. Uh, no, that movie was I mean, real simple. You got people trapped in a hospital. There's cosmic horror shit going on, and then they add a nice a little plot about the doctor's daughter dying and him trying to do a ritual to bring her back, and
Yeah,
then
I'm glad you mentioned his daughter because I don't think he was the only one that experienced loss. Like, if you look at all of the fucking characters in the movie,
oh, yeah,
like
they
all
all
of them.
experience loss. They never talk about it, but the 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 chubby hillbilly guy, the one that was a crazy dickhead through the whole movie.
Oh, the father?
There's a part, yeah, there's a part where he drops a baby's shoe covered in blood and puts
Right.
it away and tells them not to question him about it. And I'm like, oh, his fucking infant was just killed by
Mm-hmm.
these people today.
And his wife.
Like,
We find that out at the end of the movie. That's literally his son. I forget the son's name. The son actually has a name, but from what I've seen, people have just been commonly referring to them as the father and the son. But when the
yeah, no, that
void starts
movie.
to fuck with them, we see that the father is all pissed off at the son for not stepping up and being the man while he was gone. So they both lost a mother and like a I guess a little sibling or a wife and a child.
That whole twist where the pregnant chick is actually pregnant with the fucking doctor's daughter though,
Yeah, Dr. Powell's kid.
and she ends up being the catalyst for that fucking oh god, what was his daughter's name? Like Sharon, some shit like that. His
Just
dead
something.
daughter. Yeah, where she was reborn through that newborn child. That monster was hideous.
Yeah, I wanted to look at pictures of that after the movie. Like, I just wanted to look at nothing but pictures of that to get like a better look of it. And I found out that his name is Baby Talk, or its name is Baby Talk, which I think is pretty fitting because it made all those weird baby sounds. But
Mm-hmm.
the look on her face right when she realized, oh, I've been brainwashed and now I'm fucked for it,
Now I'm gonna die.
was just perfect. Especially like my favorite part of like Baby Talk, that whole part of that scene was when Baby
Mm-hmm.
Talk started dragging her ass around.
Mm-hmm.
It was just amazing to me. especially that big, like something that big being just practical
I
and
got
look
fucked up by
so good.
the Karen monster eating that dude.
I don't even remember his name. Wasn't it like Keith or something?
Yeah, he was just like he wasn't like a main character. He was
He
just there
was
to die.
intended to die.
And that was his purpose for the movie, was to die in gruesome, oozing fashion, which he
Mm-hmm.
did. Now this is the Void was a perfect example of like my favorite kind of horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
It just grabs you by the taint and doesn't let go of you.
It does it with the teeth too.
Yeah, it bites you by the taint.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, maybe some people are into that. I don't kink shame.
I don't know. Maybe teething is a little too far for me. Maybe a little too much.
You don't know until you try it.
I think I'm good. I'd rather not try it.
You're missing out.
Well, I mean,
That's just
technically
my
we did
opinion.
try it if we watched The Void.
That's fair. Yeah, no, amazing movie. I really don't have anything negative to say about The Void. I don't have any sort of complaints about it because I just enjoyed it from start to finish.
I do have
Uh,
some questions though.
okay.
I have actually quite a few questions about that, but since I don't have my notes in front of me, it's kind of counterproductive. Like, why did I even fucking take the notes? But you remember the horns at the beginning of the movie?
Yes.
Did like all of the world hear that, or was it just this particular area, or was it the
It
county?
seems like it was that county. It never really goes into detail about that, but this is like an isolated incident. This isn't like a cosmic horror, an unstoppable cosmic horror is coming. This is a man is dipping his very pinky toe into like cosmic horror magic.
Right,
Uh,
but how do we know
it
that?
is
Because it's only told from the character's perspective, and the character isn't Dr. Powell. It's everybody else in the hospital. Dr.
well,
Powell just
if
finishes us like he fills us in every now and then.
I went into this assuming that whoever uh, made the movie knew their Lovecraftian lore, and if it were a case of a cosmic entity is coming, there wouldn't have been an ending where anyone survived and the and the nightmare was like over. Like there's no stopping that from happening.
Well, yeah,
Like it's
but I mean,
gonna happen. You
uh,
can't stave it off.
see, and this is where I have a complaint with the movie, is because
Okay.
the ending doesn't really make any sense. Like, it's absolutely completely up for, um, oh, what's the word? Like,
Interpretation.
yeah, it's up for literally every person who watches it interpretation. And when it comes to
Well,
like how it was written, I don't think the writer, the director, or anybody is willing to fill us in because I honestly don't even think they know. Because I say that because like if oh fuck, now I've done forgotten her name. Daniel's wife, her.
yeah.
If she was turned into a cosmic entity and died because Daniel killed her, why was she alive and intact inside the void? And if she's inside the void, does that mean she's alive inside the void? Like, does that mean the damage has been
Oh, okay.
undone? Or
So
is that
it's
just
kind
like,
of implied that that's kind of like an afterlife thing. Those are their souls, essentially.
it's implied though?
That's how I took it, because the doctor fucking penis
Powell?
butt, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck.
Dr. Powell.
Yeah, Dr. Powell. He told Daniel, he was like, hey, why don't you just give yourself over, and then you can go be reunited with your wife in the void. And that's kind of what happened. They went into the void so that they could be reunited. I don't know what the fuck is in the void. I know it's cosmic horror related because black pyramid obelisks are very much
Not floaty.
prominent. Not that, they're also very prominent structures when it comes to Lovecraftian
Look how smart your answer
lore.
sounds, and then I'm just over here like, pyramids aren't floaty.
Alright, to be fair, now I'm going to go ahead and put a disclaimer here. I do not condone who Lovecraft was as a person. It's impossible to condone that. Lovecraft was so bad of a person, even the KKK told him, please don't be associated with us.
He's a bad noodle.
He's a bad noodle.
No banana stickers.
But, you know, I discovered Lovecraftian stuff when I was like 13. And I used to have like rows and rows of books on it. I was that weirdo as a teenager. So I'm pretty well versed on my Lovecraftian lore. So I was able to. I don't know how well versed you are on it, but that's where I get a lot of my like thoughts on the movie from.
I'm not extremely well versed, but like I know about like the major shit. I never really read a whole bunch of his work, to be honest. Like
Fun fact, I've never read a whole lot of his work either. I read Call of Cthulhu, and then I read stories written by. I read, collections of short stories about where people took like Lovecraftian lore and made short horror stories out of them. That's where I get a lot of my stuff from. Plus, I've read what's the fucking book? There's like a whole book. It's essentially like the Lovecraftian Necronomicon.
Mm-hmm.
But
like I haven't read his stuff by choice though.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I didn't know all that shit about Lovecraft until like a handful of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'd have steered farther the fuck away from it. But here I am, a man almost 30 years old, who has all this knowledge on on cosmic horror, but can't really talk about it because the creator is a horrible racist.
Yeah, no shit.
So I just kind of explained for me, what got you into, like, cosmic horror stuff?
To be honest, Hellraiser.
That's a good one. That is a really good one.
I mean, I kind of already went over my love for those movies in the first episode, but I know it's more like, oh, we're from hell, we're angels or demons or whatever the fuck, but it's super cosmic horror-y, at least in my eyes.
No, it 100% is.
Uh-huh.
That's good cosmic horror. I almost feel like we could have watched a Hellraiser movie for today. Now that
we will have our Hellraiser episode, absolutely, 100%.
So Hellraiser got you into it, and that's a good way to start.
Plus, it's like the most crazy, inconceivable shit.
Yeah, it is. Especially if you get into the lore of it. We can save all that for the Hellraiser episode. I'm gonna get on a whole Hellraiser tangent if I keep going with this train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
What about Underwater? How did you feel about Underwater?
Ooh, there's a lot more to look into here, and there's a lot of speculation on my end.
Yeah, I put on the subtitles like you said. What were you talking about with like the noises and everything?
So in the beginning, when there's the banging and you can hear this like growling and stuff, it literally says creatures growling.
Oh, that didn't show up on my TV. I mean, I could tell it was growling.
Yeah, well, when I first watched it, like right after they put it on HBO Go, or not HBO Go, that's way back when, HBO Max, I didn't watch it with subtitles. And because
okay.
I have pretty bad hearing, like I'm always missing things, so I just assumed it was like the machinery just kind of collapsing, but it actually says like creatures growling or whatever.
No, that's a really good use of deception in the movie. Because it does sound like machinery crashing. I can totally see how on a second watch through, like, yeah, I can totally see how you wouldn't recognize when you first hear it that that's creatures.
Yeah. But before we like get into the movie, you want to give more props to Kirsten Stewart or Kristen Stewart,
Yeah, that woman doesn't get the like attention she deserves.
especially like you were saying, she's always miscasted. She's not given parts that show off her style.
Yeah, everyone thinks Twilight, and they're like, "Oh, put her as like a moody high school student," and I'm like, "Nah, man.
Mm-hmm.
She, fuck. I know I'm gonna catch flack for this. I feel like in Underwater, Kristen Stewart showed like if she were given like a good franchise, she could be like she could be like this generation's version of Ripley from Alien.
Yeah, she
That's
def
the
got
vibes I
Sigourney
got
Weaver
from.
vibes. She got Sigourney Weaver vibes.
Now, not to say she's as great as Sigourney Weaver. I'm not gonna sit here and say that. No one comes close to the Queen.
But you can't have the vibes though.
Oh yeah, she got the vibes. She could be. She has that kind of potential in her, and I loved her in this movie. Within the past 2 years, my perspective on Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson have completely 180'd.
Yeah, for me with Pattinson, it was The Lighthouse.
For me, with The Lighthouse is good. That movie like fucks with your head, but it's also just fucking hilarious.
Especially that seagull scene, how literally the entire
Attracted
internet
here with
took it.
you and your noises and your thoughts. Oh, your thoughts. It's like me staring at my son.
With the seagull scene, how the entire internet just took it, ran with it, and started putting music to it,
Oh
and
yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah. But Kristen in this movie, I think she did a damn good job, especially when matched up with the captain. Like them two fed off each other really well.
Hmm. Also, um, really weird that T.J. Miller was in this movie.
I didn't like it.
I liked his character. I mean, he was there for some comedic relief. That's what T.J. Miller exists for.
Yeah, but this movie didn't need comedic relief.
I felt like I felt like maybe he was there for comedic relief, but I don't know. Watching it, I feel like he wasn't sitting there like making one-liners and cracking jokes the whole time. The dude was just trying to use humor as a coping mechanism, which
Yeah,
which I do. So
and
it hit
it's
me a little personally. I felt really sad for his character because
I didn't. I
you
was
ever
grateful.
you were grateful that he died.
Yes, because I was like waiting the whole movie for Emily, for Smith, for somebody to tell this motherfucker to shut the fuck up. None of the criticism he was giving was helpful. None
That's
of it.
fair. He did die in arguably my favorite fucking death scene of the movie though. That shit was brutal.
And like people are still trying to process Rodriguez blowing up, and they're all like, "Oh, have
That
you ever
shit
seen
was so
anybody die?"
sudden.
And "Oh,
That
well, I've
shit
never
was
seen
so
anybody implode." It's like, bruh, shut the
that
fuck up.
Rodriguez's death was so sudden and shocking. That man just imploded like instantly.
Like, here comes the boom. Ready or not.
That scene where they're fucking just right after he dies and they have to walk through all his viscera.
I think that's the best death in the movie.
My favorite was C.J. Miller's death. It rips him out from the suit through a tiny hole. It turns that man into liquid mush.
I just wish it could have happened
It kind
sooner.
of reminded me. I hate that. I guess there's a lot of things you can correlate here. It reminded me of that scene in I think it was Alien 2, may have been the third one, where where Ripley makes a hole in the shuttle and the alien pushes the alien against it and the alien gets sucked out through a tiny little hole like a fucking alien Slurpee into
Mm-hmm.
the void of space. That's what
Mm-hmm.
his death reminded me of.
I'm glad you mentioned Alien, though. You remember the first. Well, it's alien to them. Um, like when they speculate that it's a baby, that's why the creature, whatever it is, to them at the moment is trying to break in through the walls to get what they think is the baby.
Yeah,
Did that not look like a chest burster to you?
a little bit. Yeah. No.
Like a great value chest burster though.
Yeah, like great value chest burster.
Mhm.
Um, no, I thought that movie was a lot more stressful for me. Like that movie is, I have a
Really?
fear of like the deep ocean already, like
Uh-huh.
a real fear of it. The closest you'll ever get me in the deep ocean is I went on a cruise once. You won't ever catch my, you won't ever catch my ass at a beach. Like, I don't play that game.
I'll go
There,
ankle deep. That's about it.
I'm not saying I believe in that there's a specific Cthulhu, but I believe that there is a reason that we cannot get to a certain point in the ocean. There are things down there that we don't need to know about, and I don't want to find out about them.
I don't want to find out about. Well, I do and don't. Like it's one of those. It's like a
Yeah, it's morbid curiosity.
yeah. But even when it comes, not just the 99% of the ocean that we haven't discovered, the whole like what they teach us about the Earth having a crust, a mantle, and a core. That's just a theory. We have no fucking clue. There's been no drill deep enough to actually find out. So the fact that there
Yeah.
was claims, it's not like TN Industries didn't have proof, didn't know what the fuck was going on down there.
They
That's
had a
what the
they had a
movie was
clue.
opening up.
You also see there's a scene where I don't know if you caught it. There's a that scene where it looks like everybody except Kristen Stewart died, and she's having to like fix her suit and stuff.
Mm.
She finds a blueprint for that station that they're on, and over the plate that they're drilling on, there is a giant pentagram drawn on the blueprint. So the company definitely fucking knew what they were doing.
Okay, so then that's something I wanted to talk about later.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
no, not the pentagram. The pentagram just put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that it this movie was either one of two things in like TN Industries' favor. They either didn't give a shit, just wanted the oil, so they wanted to hush all claims of hey, there's stuff down there, so they could keep drilling, or they're like some kind of cultist group, cultist business that was making an offering. And with you telling me that it was a pentagram, I'm pretty fucking sure it was a cultic. Yeah, no, that's the word,
I
right?
like to
Like a
think
cult
that
offering.
it doesn't get into specifics, and unfortunately, we'll probably never get a follow-up movie about this because it got terrible. It didn't even make its budget back in theaters, which I think is a damn shame.
Uh huh.
I think people did not appreciate it for what it was, but I think you. I'd like to combine your ideas because that's what I think.
Mhm.
I think that they knew what was down there, and they were trying to harness like it for money. They were trying to harness that energy. Kind of like I mean, like I'll bring in another form of media, video games. Kind of like in the new Doom games, how they were harnessing hell energy
Uh huh.
for infinite resources. I think it was some shit like that. They knew what they were doing. They just, they were a victim of hubris.
Nah, I think it's an offering mostly for one reason only: the name, TN Industries, Lovecraftian.
Oh shit, that's a good one.
You
I
know,
didn't pick up on that.
and all of the the missing people that went down there, and things were just fine, and this time I guess there was no physical offering made, like nobody went out and got lost, so Cthulhu got kind of pissed and was like, all right, fuck it, I'm just going to take them then.
And more than that, Cthulhu was about to fucking invade the Earth.
This was a very tiny Cthulhu, though.
it wasn't very. I mean, yeah, okay. When you compare it to Lovecraftian lore, absolutely. Like it's stated, Cthulhu rests at the bottom of the sea, and
Uh
if he
huh.
were to stand up from the bottom of the sea, he would tower over the earth. Like, so
Yeah.
yes, very tiny Cthulhu in comparison, but it's like the first time in a recent movie we've seen Cthulhu, and
Mhm.
that just like made me squeal like a little giddy girl. I was like, oh shit, there's my boy right there. And I mean, very impressive. I even they didn't do a one for one take on Cthulhu. They incorporated the important parts with the humanoid shape and the bold squid head and the tentacle face, but they gave him that giant gaping mouth with the rows of razor teeth, and I really like that design they had for him.
Yeah, so remember how we were talking earlier and you said that they saw Cthulhu and they didn't go insane and whatnot?
Well, the Asian girl went a little crazy because Kristen Stewart found her wandering, just repeating the something about a fucking petri dish.
Mhm.
So she went a little crazy, but snapped out of it.
Yeah. I think it was the depth of the water that prevented Smith and Emily, I think her name was Emily, from getting a good look at it. Like they just saw something massive was down there and that was enough to kind of scare them into maybe a little bit of insanity, but then kind of reality kicked in. That will to live kicked in and they were like, okay, well whatever the fuck it is, it's
Why do
not
you
getting me
think
today.
Kristen Stewart didn't go insane? Because she stared
Yes.
Cthulhu directly into his fucking eyes. The only thing
Okay.
I can comprehend, my theory why she didn't go insane is because her character is kind of a fucking sociopath.
All right, my theory why she didn't go insane. What was she doing at the beginning of the movie?
Brushing her teeth.
Right. What was she cleaning though? Like
The
she was wearing
bathroom?
something, wasn't she?
Yeah, what was she cleaning? I forget.
Homeboy, she was wearing glasses.
Oh, oh shit! She didn't have her glasses on the whole time.
Yeah, the whole movie she didn't have her fucking glasses on. And she was having to get right up fucking close to shit.
Shit, I never picked up. I saw the movie like two or three times. I never picked up on that detail.
Dude, my blind ass, with how bad I need my glasses, that's the first fucking thing I noticed was when she met up with or Rodriguez, sorry. She didn't have, no, it's Rodrigo, ain't it? Well, whatever the fuck his name is. When she met up with him, she didn't have her glasses. And I was like, ooh, girl, that's not good. You run into this hallway, this wet ass, slippery ass hallway, barefoot without your glasses? Like, fuck that.
Shit, I never picked up on that.
So that's why I
Yeah,
was thinking at the end of the movie, even if she saw the same thing that Smith and Emily, again, I'm guessing her name
she
is
essentially
Emily.
saw a giant blob.
Yeah, she just saw something, you know?
Man, that scene where she first shoots Flare and you just see a flicker of him though.
Uh huh.
Beautiful, beautifully shot. Fucking amazing.
Again, I just wish they went a little more practical. Like, there's no way that you can have that as big of a fucking budget as they had, which is, I
It
think,
was like
more than
80
twice
million.
the Yeah, it was more than what The Void had.
The Void is actually a Canadian film that was only originally shown at like a film festival. Funnily enough.
Right, but they had an extremely low budget.
Yeah, it
And
was like $150,000 or something like that.
and what they gave us was something like physical. It
Insane.
was it was right there in front of us. Like the actors didn't have to use their imagination as much because what they were seeing, it was fucking right in front of them. Like they didn't get to go back and look at it on camera and be like, "Oh, that does look scary. They did a good job." Like no, they saw it when they were recording.
All right, so I've said nothing but good things about the movie so far. I gotta get on with my main complaint about Underwater.
Uh,
You're gonna tell me the old one, the ancient one, the Lord of Darkness himself, Cthulhu, has awoken from his slumber, and she just blows him up. He's a cosmic entity.
Yeah.
Now, in the lore, he is like the weakest of the entities. He's also the youngest of them. He's also the only one that has like an actual physical form. But the whole ending of like she blew them all up and sacrificed herself, so the nightmare is over. I'm like, Cthulhu exists in the fourth dimension. That's just what we see of Cthulhu is what he presents himself to us as in our dimension. It's like you killed his physical body, but he can just blink and make another one.
Yeah.
So
I
that kind of bothered me.
I don't think he died. I think it just hurt. Because, I mean, that's a fucking big ass explosion.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead. I think he just maybe went back to sleep.
Yeah. Remember all of the the newspaper clippings and shit at the end of the movie where they showed the two survivors and said that TN Industries won't let anybody have an interview?
Yes.
Why are they the only two survivors? Didn't before like they showed the monsters attacking people as well as Cthulhu, when they introduced us to the captain, all of the escape pods were gone. There was at least 5 to 7 escape pods. This is before shit started actually really going down to the severity that we saw.
I'm gonna I'm gonna chalk that up to just the writer overlooked that detail. Honestly.
Yeah, because that's like 17 minutes into the movie. I got my notes out. 17 minutes in the movie, all of the evac pods were gone. That's why they had to go from Kepler to Roebuck so they could get to those escape pods.
That's fair. I never really thought that much about it. You paid way more attention to like extreme details than I did. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, when I like sit down and usually just like watch things to watch it, I'll miss a lot. Like I don't pay attention. I'll probably just play on my phone. But when I actually sit down with like having to take notes, I'm gonna take some damn notes.
Smart of you. I mean, I took notes too. I'm reading from my notes. I just, I just be dumb as hell.
Yeah, and now that I'm looking at my notes, I'm just angry about TJ Miller again.
Hey, that's fair. He's a piece of shit human being.
Like, you watch anime? I like anime. Every single time he talked, he felt as out of place as he looked. And his
No, I definitely
comedic,
would not ever cast T.J. Miller in a horror movie.
right?
Although I would, it does belong in the horror category. But I felt up until the first monster showed up, it felt more like a suspense thriller. I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
nice blend of the genres because the whole movie was suspenseful. Like, like just the whole like take the monsters out of it. You're trapped in an underwater mining facility that's collapsing, and you have almost no way of escaping or contacting anybody. That is a terrifying situation to put yourself in.
Yeah. And there was another thing that struck me as weird, which made me wonder if Nora was going crazy or not. Because I mean, it's possible for somebody to bring a spider in from the top when they're traveling down to either Kepler or Roebuck, but there was a whole ass daddy longleg in the drain when she was brushing her teeth.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. The spider is significant.
Elaborate.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up my Lovecraftian knowledge again. One thing about spiders in Lovecraftian lore, they're not always used, but it's a common sign is um a lot of people there's stories about like like Cthulhu woke up or there's old gods awakening and there's crazy cosmic horror shit happening. People go into like bunkers and stuff to keep themselves safe. And one story in particular sticks out to me. I wish I could remember the name of the story. It's been years since I read it, but I remember it clear as day. I just don't remember the author. Otherwise, I'd give them credit. But there was one guy in the story who had prepared for this exact thing, and he made a bunker with no corners in it, perfectly round, and no like dark crevices. Because in Lovecraftian horror, there's like weird cosmic math involved with the old ones. So like corners, dark spaces, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They emerge from things like that, or they can, make things emerge, things that wouldn't be like off-putting or even horrifying to someone to see. So, obviously, in a deep sea mining facility, there's zero chance a fucking spider got down there. And she even remarks on it, how did you get in here?
Mm-hmm.
That is, for someone, I think that's a little tidbit they put in there for people who, like, kind of know the lore.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that spider crawl out of the drain, I was like, oh, we're not even wasting time here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's a first sign, is stuff like that. Stuff that, at a surface level, not very scary. It's just kind of out of place. There's no explanation for it as to why it's there.
So,
That's what that was a nod to people who kind of knew what they were talking, knew what they were watching when they went to go see it. Is like that happened, and someone like me was just like, oh shit, here we go.
yeah, and then like the movie really happens right afterwards. And I
Right
enjoyed
after.
that because like every character that we would meet right after shit hit the fan, we were gonna meet 100% of that. You've heard the saying like you don't know somebody until either a tragedy or a miracle happens, you know? It was definitely a tragedy. We met everybody and fucking TJ Miller was obnoxious as shit. Or Paul. Like
I'm so,
who is experiencing cosmic horror and chooses to play fucking SpongeBob SquarePants? Like that'd be the last fucking
I
thing on my
feel
mind.
I feel personally attacked by what you just said. You want to know why?
Because
Because because I just watched both of those movies again today, and after we're done with this, I'm gonna be playing SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom.
right, but you're going to be playing that in an apartment where you're not experiencing cosmic horror.
Fair enough. It's just funny you said that because I'm like I just experienced two cosmic horror movies and I'm about to play SpongeBob.
Like TJ Miller as Paul was really down there like F is for friends who do stuff together, U is for you and me, you know?
You see,
Like
I don't share. I mean, I hate T.J. Miller as a person, but I don't share your hatred for the character because that was a man using the only coping mechanism he knows.
it didn't really seem like a coping mechanism though. Like I understand how it is a
It may
coping
not seem
mechanism
like
because
it
I
from an
do it.
outside
I
view.
mean, I was making jokes after my fucking grandma died, like immediately after she died. So, I mean, I get it. I get that how it could be a coping mechanism. It's just when you're making a movie like this, it just feels
No, he definitely
seriously out
doesn't
of place.
belong.
That's my point. It's not necessarily I hate TJ Miller, it's just, why is this character here?
Oh well, I hate T.J. Miller. He's a creepy,
Oh
rapey
yeah, no, I
person.
hate TJ Miller, but that's not why I'm bitching about him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I know that. He's just no, his character is out of place in this movie. I get what they were trying to go for by having that character in the movie, but I do not agree with the direction they were going for with it. It does not belong in this movie.
And I mean, while we're complaining about movies, there was another reason that I was pissed off at The Void.
Okay.
Like like I mentioned briefly earlier, everybody in that movie had experienced loss, or at least it had seemed that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh fuck, I still can't remember her name. But Daniel and his wife lost their child. The father and the son lost the two main women in their lives. You know, relatives. I would assume the girl who was having Dr. Powell his kid, had lost her parents, which that could either be her grandfather's son or daughter, because I mean she was there with her grandfather.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what it was implied that she didn't have parents. Yeah.
yeah, and then Rolled, I just called him Rolled, whatever his fucking name was in the movie. You know, the guy who's in Letterkenny plays Rolled,
Yeah.
and yeah, he lost that the chick off the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, everybody lost somebody. Everybody handled it a lot fucking better than what Dr. Powell did. That was literally the plot of the movie. Oh no, my feelings are hurt because
Everybody lost somebody.
yeah, no shit. Like, but
Back streets back. All right. I'm
oh
sorry. I
god.
need to get it out of my fucking head.
But the whole movie happened because he was just sad and wanted to go back in time. Like literally, we all feel, sad every now and
Oh
then.
no, Dr. Powell was a dick. He's a stupid dick.
He was an immature dick who didn't know how to manage his feelings. Like, you're probably the one person in the movie equipped on how to handle feelings because you've studied them.
Not
You
only
think that
that,
you could magically fucking just go back in time and change things?
he
Or not
wasn't
even go
just
back in time, just change things?
he
Like,
wasn't
who the
just a
fuck are you?
doctor. He was a surgeon. Like he definitely knows how to handle loss, like and how it should be handled. And as a doctor, especially a surgeon, you know,
Mm-hmm.
bedside manner, all that. But no, like that guy is just an evil dickhead.
Uh-huh. And, like, I would
Man,
imagine.
that scene was a mind fuck though, where they go get the medical supplies and find the wife, and they hear the phone ringing in the doctor's office. You see it coming from the morgue.
Mm-hmm.
It just that was like a 3 minute scene, if that, but it just fills you in with so much exposition. You can tell like the dude's looking through the doctor's belongings and finds all the pictures and everything.
Right. And then what they do with the pictures is they choose to fucking fight each other. That's all they did. This entire fucking movie was just fight amongst each other.
It's because I feel like it was the dad's fault. He that guy was an unhinged asshole. That guy was struggling with the very recent grief of losing his wife and infant daughter, and was just combative the whole goddamn time. Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's the Danny or Daniel, the cop, the
Mm-hmm.
main character. He he was the smartest person there. He told everyone like, "Hey, we need to all calm the fuck down and like
But he was
handle
the one
this."
fighting.
I mean, he was fighting not at first. No. He became more combative when it came time for them to go get the shotgun out of his car.
Uh-huh.
That's when he really became, because if you notice, the whole movie up to that point, he was, telling everyone like, "Hey, calm down, everyone, calm down. We're all in the same situation."
Probably because he just
And
wanted to
then,
fucking think and he was having all these fucking
yeah, I
visions and
don't
shit he didn't
blame
understand. He's probably just trying to have a second of quiet to process his fucking thoughts.
I don't blame him for being like combative and stuff. Like at that when he finally starts acting that way in the movie, because like, fuck, man, they wouldn't listen to him. They wouldn't give him a moment of fucking peace. They wouldn't work together or anything. And finally, when they go get the shotgun out of the car and he kills that cultist, he tells him, he's like, "Fuck y'all, I'm keeping the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you people aren't gonna listen to reason, I'm gonna have to do this shit myself." And honestly, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have been able to stop all of this shit from happening.
Right, but he kind of stopped it by luck. He didn't know
I
what the
mean,
fuck he was doing. Nobody in this situation outside of Dr. Paul knew what the fuck they were doing. Or Dr. Powell knew what they were doing.
yeah, you're right. He did stop by luck, but he still stopped it. Still stopped it, and that means something. He actually died to do it, so
As far as we know, he also couldn't have died.
his physical body died. at the
again,
very
as
least.
as far as we know, like these are like two different realms. Like it could be his body, because I mean he
That's fair
actually
enough.
went through the thing.
I've seen enough Supernatural to know.
Like there's literally a million different possibilities. Again, it's all up for interpretation.
Oh, that was definitely my favorite of the two that we watched.
Oh, and so while we're on the subject of the movies, like we watched Underwater on HBO, but I had to watch this on Tubi. I had to watch The Void on Tubi. What a fucking horrible platform for this movie to be on. Like if you're listening to this, rent it. Do not
Hold
watch
on,
it on
you
Tubi. Don't watch it on Tubi because it will take the atmosphere out of the fucking movie. There's one note that I had written where it
you do
was
know that that shit is on Amazon, right?
it's not on Amazon for free.
Hold on, where did I watch it?
Because I always search it, and if because with the Roku TV, if it's on your Amazon through any platform, like IFC, Shutter, whatever the fuck, it says included with subscription. It didn't say that, and I even searched it, and it was telling me to rent it because I was pretty sure I saw it on Shutter once upon a time. But I had to watch this on Tubi, and I definitely don't recommend watching it via Tubi because the
I don't
commercials,
recommend watching anything by Tubi.
yeah, the commercials will basically undo all the ambiance. Uh, like you'll be mystified one moment, and then the next thing you know, some dude's singing like "I'm a Ganiac" because his panties smell good because he changed his fabric softener. Like, how are you supposed to stay in a tense moment? Like,
Yeah, no. I hate to inform you. You definitely could avoid that experience. I watched it on the Amazon Prime.
are you fucking serious? It's on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon, dude.
You gotta be shitting me. When I swear to God, I looked it up and it wasn't there.
Yeah, it's there. As of today, it's there.
Well, yeah, I watched it September 29th. Like, that's when I rewatched it. So,
Final takes. There's like way more good than bad in both of these movies. There are complaints I have about both, but they're both really good. I definitely recommend watching both of them, especially The Void. Especially if you like old school fucking ultra violent practical effects horror movies.
mm-hmm.
The Void is your go to. That shit was amazing, in my opinion.
What about Underwater? What's your final take for that? Or, I guess, why are we saying final take? What's your horrible take about that?
My horrible take on the. If I had to give it a rating system out of 10, on The Void, give it a solid, like, 8.5.
Ooh, okay.
And and on Underwater, a solid 7.
Alright.
Also, Kristen Stewart deserves more recognition, and if anyone disagrees with me, you can meet me at any Denny's parking lot at 2 a.m. and I will fight you.
Any Denny's?
Yeah, I'll be drunk.
Like, even if it's out of state, any Denny's?
I magically appear there.
Alright. Um,
I'm like a cryptid. I'm the drunk bearded dude you fight in a Denny's parking lot at 2 a.m.
the mold one.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
um, so, I guess my horrible take on the Void. I don't really have like any major complaints, like because it's from the character's perspective. Again, like it's up for interpretation. So, if there's any single part of it where you just don't understand anything, literally make up anything and it can fit. And that there you go. That's your answer. Um, but at the same time, I also feel like it was written that way because the writer and the director didn't know what to put there. So, I mean, that's also a possibility as well. But as far as it being like a solid movie or not, I mean, I'd watch it again. I'd recommend it to people. I'd probably give that one about a, I guess about the same as you, about a 8.5 out of 10. And with Underwater, I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10.
6.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that shit a 6 out of 10.
Is it because of T.J. Miller?
it's because his character takes up just that whole first half of the movie, like the first
That's
two
fair.
thirds of the
I knew
movie.
as soon as because you sounded like you had so many good things to say about it, and then you said 6 out of 10, and I'm like, it's because T.J. Miller's
And
character
it's
in
not
it.
just because of T.J. Miller. It's because like
It's because of his
time.
character.
No, it's because time jumps so chaotically through that movie. Like we think
That movie
everything
is
is
a bit hard to
happening.
follow.
They don't find
The
like
captain
we think the
until
movie is
2
happening as
hours
we
after
see
the
it,
movie begins, and
but they find the captain like 17 minutes into the movie. She says, "Oh, I was just brushing my teeth 2 hours ago." Like literally two
Yeah,
hours
there's a
ago. Like
ridiculous amount of time jumps in that movie. I will
yeah,
say that.
and then all of the CGI was like the new It remake bad. So you could see they tried, but with the amount of money that they had, how are you going to give us that? I guess I might be being a little too harsh because I watched The Void first out of these two, and knowing the
No, I
budget
feel you.
knowing the budget that The Void had, like they gave us such, top quality, like you cannot point out a single flaw effect. And with Underwater, we get some little spunk looking nod to Alien, and it's kind of a slap in the face for Alien.
A little bit, yeah.
So, yeah, just 6 out of 10. I'll be here fucking forever ranting about it. And even with, okay, no, one more thing. Even with like TN Industries, it's too on the fucking nose. Like they're just like, ah, fuck it, Lovecraft TN Industries, let's go with that. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
So so yeah, 6 out of 10. You just keep that. Just 6 out of 10.
All right then. Well, I disagree with you, but
I guess that's why
you're
it's a horrible take, then, ain't it?
valid and have your fucking horrible take.
Yeah.
All right, well, everybody, thanks for listening. Once again, I'm Grayson. You can find me on Instagram at horriblegray. Um, I don't have anything else to plug right now, but in the near future, I'm going to be essentially rebranding my streaming appearance. I'll be making a new YouTube and a new Twitch account here in the very near future. So, and maybe by the next episode or the one after that, keep an ear out if you're interested in either of those.
And I'm Ashley. You can find me on Ashley _likes _horror. And if you go to either the A Horrible Take Facebook page, Instagram, or my Instagram, you'll see that I'm doing streams of Dead Space right now every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 in the morning MDT to about 11 in the morning MDT. If you're central, that's 10 to 12. So, with that being said, thank you for tuning in, and y'all have a great rest of your, I guess, fortnight. We'll see you then.